Good morning, everyone. So many of y'all had asked me about magic, divination, and many other things that surround that. And I would personally like to start off with the fact that magic is everywhere. It is within us, around us. It's in all the elements. However, most people forget that you could read any book that you want. Books are tools, books are knowledge, just like many other magical items such as drums, sage, herbs, stones. However, we're all born with a gift, and these gifts are given to us by our ancestors, and everyone has a gift that's different. And to understand them and to find them, you have to look deep within yourself. And I'm not talking about shadow work. I am literally talking about getting your feet in the dirt, sitting in the grass, meditating, and seeing what happens. Some people can feel the energy around them, or connect with the land, or even finding a deeper meaning within yourself. And the only way that I know how to describe that is from my own personal experience. So when I was a little girl, my mother used to have headaches. She'd always ask me, to massage her temples and her face to help, relieve the tension from her headaches. Well, I started when I was real little because my mom had them pretty frequently from stress or whatever is going on in her day. Well, one day something changed, and all of a sudden, my hands felt really warm. And then I felt a tingle go up my arm. And it was really interesting because I didn't know what was happening. I was only maybe 7, maybe 6. I'm not really for sure because it was so long ago that I barely can really remember it. However, I went on through life trying to understand what that really meant. And I finally came across an elder woman who was a healer. And she explained to me that my hands were transferring my mother's pain into myself. Though I didn't really feel any symptoms because I was a child and I didn't really understand it. As I grew older, I learned from that technique that I learned as a child to get rid of my mother's headaches to help others. However, what I began to realize was that taking those people's energy was causing effects to myself. And so I learned how to go to plants or trees and ask it to share its energy with me before I healed somebody to get rid of their headache or whatever pain that they were going through. And I'm not talking about like some Jesus type of healing like I made somebody see. These were very minor things of healing and showing people, how healing works from my experiences. And from there, after I had those experiences with healing as a young child, I began to have visions. And sometimes it would be things that would happen before they would happen, or I'd have a vision that one of my relatives would pass away a week before, a day before, and I'd get these certain feelings. And it really took me until I was about in my 20s and I met the right people to talk to that were elders that had more wisdom in these topics. It helped me truly understand how they worked and why they worked the way they did. And it's something that you learn over a lifetime. And from there, I would experience certain things like I could sense when people were staring at me, and I would look around and someone was looking at me or whatever, because I had that sixth sense or whatever you want to call it, that intuition, that instinct. And from there, I participated in rituals And since I already understood somewhat about energy, I learned to understand how energy worked in a ritual setting, how it moves in a circle or moves in the group, so to speak, and I could feel certain things. And from there, I found that I was very good at grounding myself because I had, learned about meditation and stuff, so it made me an anchor in many rituals that I went to. And because of the fact that I had dreams and visions of stuff, I had experiences where I went to different groups, or kindreds, tribes, whatever you want to call them, their rituals, and I would dream for about a week, and I would have visions of things that may possibly happen in the future for that kindred. And I would, let the Gothi know, hey, I had a dream about this. I don't know if it will happen, because to me, the future is ever changing. The Norns may know the beginning and the end of our thread, but what we do in the middle, is up to us. How it's woven, or if it became wound tight, or it snaps or frays, that really depends on us. However, my experiences are personally my own. Everyone has a different experience. And many of the tools that we have, such as, tools for divination, some use runes, some use tarot. I've seen people use playing cards, depending on what, community you're in, of the pagan community. Everyone has different tools, and those tools help you harness until one day you don't need them anymore, because you'll find them in yourself. And even in Eric the Red, it spoke of a Volva who came, and she needed certain things that were tools, but one thing she could not do was ground herself, because she needed somebody to sing or chant, which singing is an energy. It helps you ground and get in that mindset. However, they found a young lady who her foster mother had taught her a song that was a magical chant that would have been used in Sather, or for a seer, and it helped the little Volva do what she needed. And to me, I think that a lot of people forget that you can't harness all the magic that's around you, and it takes different people to help in magical settings, depending what it is. That's one of the reasons why we have community and we build upon it, because each person has their own aspect of what they're good at. Some people are good at singing and playing drums, where others are better at helping teach others how to meditate and ground, where other people are good at storytelling and sharing their stories about their own magical experiences. And don't get me wrong, there are some people who will not share their stories with you because they believe that is personal and sacred to them. Completely understandable. However, one story can be someone else's guide to success and helping them connect in their own way. And that is why I tell people all the time, it takes a village to build something better than what we have. And I hope this story inspires you to understand, as well as books that I am going to post on social media, to give you a stepping stone on understanding what magic was back then and how they practiced those things compared to the things that we do now as modern pagans, heathens, whatever you want to call yourself, druids. And hopefully it will help you ground and find your center and connecting with the magic that is within you that your ancestors gave you. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this little podcast on breaking down magic from my understanding. Y'all have a great weekend, everyone.